prior to the military was Hardee's. I did construction for one day, and I worked at a perfume factory. So that was pretty much how I got into the military, because that's the only example of success that I saw was soldiers. Wound up doing 25 years in the military, but honestly, from 2007 until 2017, only thing I wanted to be was a licensed professional counselor. That's it. I got my bachelor's in psychology. I worked at a perfume factory. So that was pretty much how I got into the military. But that's the only example of success. Can you guys hear me still? Wound up doing 25
Yeah, I can
years
hear
in
you.
the
Yeah.
military. But yeah, so only thing that I wanted to be was a licensed professional counselor. So from 2007 to 2017, that's really that was my only focus. However, in 2018, August University was shut down, and my dreams of becoming a counselor were kind of dashed for the most part. So at that point, I really didn't have a desire to continue. I didn't want to start over in the accounting profession with my degree. So I was 2 years before I retired, no, 3 years before I retired. So I just simply started Googling what's the highest paying project management job there is. It said IT project management with my linked up certifications. And that's one reason that I have a lot of certifications, because Google said that I needed all these things to be IT project managers, work remotely. Uh, Once I retired in 2021, my first job was at BAE Systems, and they use the ServiceNow platform to manage projects. They didn't provide any training, so I was fortunate that ServiceNow has the Rise Up program, that's the 15-week program for veterans. So that's where I got my developer certification, admin certification, and even my SPM. So literally, once I received all that training through the Riser program, I was kind of hooked on ServiceNow. I could immediately understood how valuable that was for me to do my job as a project manager. The only thing I was a project manager, so I didn't have the ability to like use all the knowledge I gained through that program. That's really my jump start into ServiceNow. Was my first role as project manager, not receiving any kind of like real training in the platform, and then once I took the Rise program, then I've been hooked ever since for the most part.
Right. So let's get to that point again. So about the service now. Right now, what projects that you are doing, and what are the current things that you are working on, the overall we can say that the challenges that you are facing. Let's jump on that as well.
Yes. So as far as um, all the ServiceNow work that I do now is through my business. Once again, Google said that I should have a business LLC, so I did that as well. So now all the ServiceNow jobs I do now are contracts through my own personal business. So that's still mainly focusing on whether engagement management work or project management work and some business system analyst stuff. But one of the biggest challenges that I've seen so far is just because I learned all of the best practices as far as how to use Now Create and all the different resources. I work for companies that only use Now Create to get the starter stories, and that's how they do implementation. If that's what a company chooses to do, I can't make them do anything differently for the most part. So uh, another challenge that I faced is, uh, yeah, just because someone may have been like a developer or network engineer their entire career, that does not make you a default expert on the ServiceNow platform. It is very specific and unique. So without training in a platform, there's limits as far as what you can do effectively. So I've had to work around a lot of unofficial experts, people that have a background in a certain discipline, whether that's again network engineers or whatever the case may be, but they act as if they're SMEs with no actual training in the platform. So those have been some of my biggest issues. And one of the biggest lessons that I've learned is I don't own the platform first and foremost. So even though I may want to go in and implement all these best practices and all those things, the company isn't receptive to changing to a ServiceNow or what ServiceNow says as far as what right looks like. If they don't want to do that, then I can't. Yes, that's really my has been my biggest challenge so far.
Right. Uh, um, how about we talk about a little bit, on the personal aspect? Let's say during your, the early years of your transition, where you recently started into the tech world, into the ServiceNow and everything. Was there anywhere in between that you had some sort of self-doubt, or there's a thing called the imposter syndrome? Anywhere in between, did you ever, felt like that, or you had a feeling that, okay, maybe this is not for me, or maybe I don't know where I am or what I'm doing? James, can you hear me? Hello?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The biggest thing for me is I never thought I was smart enough to do like IT. Like IT was like my kryptonite. I always avoided it. I never thought I could do it. And even though I was in the military, I worked on certain platforms. Like I was an admin for SAP, for example, but I didn't know how it worked. If there was an issue, I called IT person, and then they resolved my issues, and then I could go go about my life happy as can be. I never thought I was smart enough for IT. So immediately, once Google told me all the things that I had to do to become an IT project manager, I was terrified. Because once again, I didn't think I was smart enough to do IT because I equated IT to math. I'm not very good at math, and all those things, yeah, made it really challenging for me to want to take a leap. Yeah, but if you can't see behind me, that airborne symbol for the most part, that's that's my office for a reason. That's the scariest thing that I've ever done in my entire life. Jump out of the airplane voluntarily. So when I thought about how terrified I was about IT, then I immediately looked back at that sign and asked myself, is it scarier than jumping out of an airplane? Then the answer is no. So I forced myself into the IT space. I had zero confidence I could do anything IT related because I only equated IT to coding and all that kind of stuff and like math and Bill Gates kind of stuff. It was just I was absolutely terrified. So I felt the imposter syndrome from day one since I retired up until probably a year ago. Every certification that I've obtained has been proof to me that I am smart enough to do anything that I work towards for the most part. So that's really so if you look at my profile, oh my God, your certifications, that's more of a challenge for me to lean into something I was afraid of and just remind myself that I can do this where I belong here for the most part. So it's more of a personal challenge for me. Yeah, the imposter syndrome was absolutely a thing for me. And yeah, that's one of the reasons I do love IT because you can't be an expert. You can't. it's always changing, and the same with ServiceNow. It's impossible for one person to memorize and know every single module to perfection. It's too much. So those just that realization has helped calm me down, and I'm a lot more confident than I was, but I still get the imposter syndrome every now and then. So it's a constant, yeah, it's a constant struggle, but I embrace it now.
Right, right, right. Yeah, I believe that the concept of the imposter syndrome is there. Like every now and then, even even myself, where I am working and the things that I'm doing, I also have those feelings. But there are always times where I would say, okay, I think because of this point or because of that point in between somewhere, I feel like, okay, this is my calling. This is something, yeah, I think I can do that. I think I can actually, I can go with this. This is something, I can make as a career. So that right thing, that what we call as a uh, that right moment, for example, what would you consider that? Based on your projects, based on any, type of certification that you did, anything like that. Where did you realize that?
Well, actually, I'm just now realizing it. I kind of thought the only reason that I initially went in the project manager direction is because
Mhm.
that's what everyone said as far as you're a soldier, you were doing project management stuff forever, so it just
Mhm.
seemed like the right fit for me because that's what I was told. But now I'm to the point where I like the business process consultant or business analyst
Mhm.
portion better. So now I'm leaning more towards that because what I enjoyed about the military was with my knowledge as far as regulations and experience in certain environments, I can go into an environment, understand their current state based off of baseline standards, understand where they wanted to go with their future state, develop that like gap analysis and help develop a plan to get them from their current state, stabilize it, and get to the future state. I never heard of a business process analyst when I was in the military, but that's more of my true passion. So now I'm beginning to shift away from project management or engagement management stuff because once again, my true passion is helping organizations become more efficient and effective. That's my true passion. So I know that now, but once again, it took me going through being an engagement manager and working within ServiceNow and understanding how the platform works for me to understand that I enjoy being in the space where I'm helping an organization. I guess organizational change management for the most part. That's more of my flavor or more of what I enjoy doing. And yeah, that was like almost a month ago when I came to that realization. So
A month ago. Okay, that's really short. Okay, all right. So let's say when you were in the military, in the time, during that moment and during those grueling days, we can say, because military is not an easy path. It's tough being a soldier and everything. So what I understand as a U.S. military officer, um, each rank as you go higher, there the overall responsibilities of course increases, of course, but beyond that there are things like uh, taking care of the like the military equipment, taking care of the soldiers, taking care of this, taking care of that, even taking care of the technical aspects. So uh, in during that time, was there any moment where your commanding officer or your senior gave you such things and that made you realize, okay, I think this is something I'm good at?
Uh, well, not well. I can't say it was a matter of anyone give me a like specific task that helped me realize what I was good at.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I was really good at being a soldier because I read books. The military is a perfect system. Anything you want to know how to do is in a book, and you can literally read it. Anything. So if I want to understand how a certain unit operates, and I can literally pick up a book and I can read as far as their capabilities, what they should be able to do in certain environments. Same as equipment. Equipment has yeah, I'm forgetting the terms now. I feel like I've been out too long. Yeah, no, equipment has theories of operation. So you can get any piece of equipment and understand, read the theory of operation that engineers design to understand how something should work in ideal circumstances. So just because I read a lot, people would ask me, "Oh my God, how'd you figure that out?" And in my mind, I'm like, because I read a book. So the epiphany came to me how easy it was for me to resolve certain issues for my commanders because I wasn't trying to figure it out myself. I had a reference to go to. The same. That's why once again I love not necessarily certifications. It's not about certifications. It's the books that come along with those certifications. So understanding just like ServiceNow for the most part, I'm addicted to reading that stuff because that gives me a baseline, the same as in the military. And the same thing applies as long as I have a baseline as far as where to start based on uh, historical information. Like now, Create is phenomenal. It's literally a knowledge management site with over like 7,000, based on
Yeah.
7,000 successful implementations. So for me, reading and learning has been the best thing for my military career, and it's still helped me as a civilian now. That's it. Just reading and understanding how something works. That's it. It's not magic.
Well, that's true. Like, what I understand is that for anything you have to do, at least in the military, your commanding officer will give you a manual, read this, learn this, and then you will apply it according to what it says. That is basically what I understand from, every time I
With
heard someone.
with with just one correction, no one no one tells you to read anything. No one. It's
Okay.
expected that you know certain things. You see what I'm saying? So either you can go about your the same as like ServiceNow. Either you
Mm.
can read documentation or you can try to figure it all out yourself, making up your own random standards and rules.
Trial and
But yeah,
errors.
at
Yeah.
no point in time did a commander ever tell me, okay, this is going to be a task you have to do. I need you to read these 5 books. No.
No. Yeah.
And once again, that's one of the reasons that I was super successful in the military because anytime that I read something, and this goes back to me thinking I wasn't a very smart person, so I always had that self doubt, like I didn't know enough. So anytime I read a book, I saw the references. It referenced this book. Like, okay, what the hell is that book about? So I would read that book, and then I would read that book, and there's more references about stuff I didn't know, and that just reiterated, oh, you're not smart. You're not smart because I didn't know about all these different things. So the more that I read, because of that imposter syndrome, I didn't think I knew enough. The easier that my jobs became, but at no point in time did anyone ever tell me you will read these books. I'm going to check on you. No, you're free to not read anything, and I guess let the chips fall where they may. I guess.
Yeah, I think that's how the civilian life, or the whole world in business actually works. That no one is going to come and teach you. You have to learn things yourself. Uh, from my own personal, experiences on that, because like there have been many things that I had no idea that I had to, learn about this point too as well. So, um, what I understood was that, okay, I think, yeah, my boss told me something like, I need to do this. And like, there was this one project a long time ago in which I had to uh, do digital part as well and the physical part as well. I won't go on the details. It's like too specific on the things. But the point that I wanted to share was that uh, what he told me to do, I had no idea how to do that. So what I did was that I went through the books. I went into ChatGPT, Google, YouTube, whatever, wherever I can learn, whatever I can learn. I even tried to find some guy who can, tell me step by step things. But one thing that happened was that through all of these, trial and error and things like that, the learning that I had based on my own, path of going forward on that was something way different than some guy who came back to that same position with a certification, with a degree, things like that. So if we talk about that based on ServiceNow, is there, uh, like in the market, is there some kind of, is there a need for certification, or is there a need for experience and understanding on how to learn those things? These are two-part question, but you take your way on that.
Yeah, well, from my standpoint, yeah, I'm gonna always go for a certification. And once again, that has nothing to do with anyone else. That's just my time in the military. Like we have our professional record briefs where I can't add any experience to my record brief unless I have a document showing that I've taken a course to validate that knowledge. So that's what I see is like certifications for me. I don't like to put anything in my resume or on LinkedIn unless I have a document saying that I've obtained that knowledge or knowledge or training or whatever. So from that standpoint, I'm going to say certifications, they help because once again, if a job description says they want you to have X, Y, and Z certifications and you don't, then yeah, you're limiting yourself for the most part. So I'm not going to say a certification is the end all be all, but don't let that be something that don't let not having a certification limit you from opportunities for the most part. What was the second part?
Yeah, about the point that sorry, even I forgot a little bit. Yeah, I was asking about the part where experience. How important is the experience and the will to learn, to the method of understanding of learning?
Well, experience comes with time. Like every expert was a novice at some point. At some point in
Yeah.
time, everyone sucked at something. Period. So
Definitely, yeah.
yeah. So just like me, I can name like the different like certifications I have. Only thing a certification does for me is it verified that I read a book and I took a test. That's pretty much it. But that does not make me an expert project manager. It doesn't make me an expert at being a developer. That's where that experience comes in. So even if you can't get experience through like a job, ServiceNow is awesome because they give you like a personal developer instance. They give it to you. And for me, one thing that I didn't do in the past was there's so many people that I've met on LinkedIn, for example, that they have deep knowledge in subjects that I want to learn, and they lay out their blueprint. When I started, I did these things, and I went into my PDI and I did these things. And what? Yeah, so literally, so now that I'm surrounding myself with the like-minded people, I'm getting more ideas as far as how I can increase my own experience. Yeah, so that's a good so that's a excellent point because I've really only been in the ServiceNow ecosystem for almost 3 years now. So I'm still to the point where I'm trying to develop that experience because I'm still leery that imposter syndrome someone reaches out, do you want to do a business process analyst for a CMDB implementation? Like, oh, I don't know. I don't know enough. So I'm still to the point where I'm doing everything that I can to gain experience on my own, even though I don't have on the job experience, if that makes sense. But yeah, so I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't focus so much on the fact that you don't have experience, because I'm in the same boat. I have almost 3 years of experience, but almost job description say 5 years of experience. Okay, it's not been 5 years yet. So as the time passes, as long as you're taking deliberate steps to improve on areas, then once an opportunity comes, you'll have potentially enough experience to get you through uh, that initial interview phase and all that. But just do not put yourself under the pressure of expecting to be an expert when you're still a student. That's yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Up till now, have you ever been, I mean, did you ever get a mentor? Did you use like, were you actively ever, searching for a mentor in this field?
Uh, well, I have a lot of unofficial mentors.
Mhm.
Just like for like ServiceNow, for example, for any class that I've gone through that's been in person or virtual, all those instructors have become my mentors. They don't know it. I follow them. I see the jobs they do. I see the stuff that they do, and some of uh, I mimic some of their actions for the most part. And the same thing applies on LinkedIn. There's so many people that I've seen on LinkedIn where they don't need to like speak to me like directly, but they outline, okay, at some point in time I sucked, and these are all the things that I did to go from being horrible to absolutely amazing. And I follow them and I observe their journey. I truly believe that success does leave clues for the most part. So if I look at someone and I admire their accomplishments, then I'm gonna pick up. Okay, you have this certification. I might want to get this certification. I'm just saying I want to recreate the work that you did, so I can be at that level for the most part. So I can't say that I have a official like ServiceNow mentor, but there's so many people that I observe that are my unofficial mentors that help guide me as far as where I want to be and the type of uh, deep knowledge I want to have within the platform. So I have a lot of unofficial mentors, a lot.
Yeah, yeah, I think there was this one quote that I heard somewhere. I'm forgetting the source, but what he said was that having a single mentor, uh, that's the most ridiculous thing that you can do. Your father is the best mentor, and after that, what you need are at least 5 or 7 mentors that will guide you through the life. I'm forgetting where I learned that code, but what I understood from that point was that, okay, one thing that the mentors do is create a playbook. And that playbook is something that one can replicate to reach the success. But again, it's not easy for everyone to follow that playbook. There could be reasons of financial problems, the mental blockages that you can say, uh, and among related to those things. Uh, Now, when we come to you in that case, because the reason that I'm asking is that the people that want to listen, they have their own issues based on those things of following the playbook. So where did you find that, okay, following this guy would be, I'm not yet ready, or that this is going to be difficult for me. I need to do this, this, this. and then I will reach that. How many times have you felt that?
Oh, well, that actually started for me when I was in the military, when I first became a warrant officer. Like first and foremost, I've always had a horrible fear of public speaking. And for anyone that knows me and they can see me like speaking now, this is absolutely one of my most prized accomplishments in my life. I don't care about like degrees and all that's awesome and amazing, but for me to
Yeah.
get over once again one of those fears that do. I digress. Yeah, so when I became a warrant officer, W1, one of my instructors gave me the record brief of a CW5. I never met a CW5 my entire life, but because I didn't understand how my career, what I wanted to do, I didn't know how to be successful as a warrant officer. But what I had was the records of someone that made it to the top of the field. So I had their playbook. So I observed the duty assignments they went to. I observed the education that they had at what level, and it sucked. But that was essentially my roadmap. They went to some places that other people would deem horrible because it was a crazy workload and all that. But I still believe this. If you immerse yourself into doing stuff hard when you're younger, once you become older, then doing hard stuff just seems like Monday for the most part. So that's really what I gained from watching the playbook of other people is their journey. It just consisted of stuff that was like, oh my God, that's just this degree and that degree. It just seemed like so much work
Too
for the most part.
overwhelming, yeah.
But now, since I've literally been mimicking the paths of successful people for so long, it just seems natural to me now. So if I don't take a class, if I'm not in school or certification, I personally I don't feel right because I just have too much time. One thing is when it comes to like blockers is uh, during COVID, for example, I got home from work at 5. I sat on the couch, and then I didn't go to bed until like 11 something. And then I just sat there and realized I sat on my couch from 5 until 11, and I've done absolutely nothing. So from that
Been
instance,
there.
I was so disgusted at me as a person. And I was literally disgusted at, oh, you're so lazy. You've done nothing for this 6 or whatever hours. So from that point forward, I stopped watching TV. I stopped watching TV. And for anyone to ask, so how do you have time to, go to school or certifications? I just stopped watching TV. Start watching TV. I stopped listening to like music, and I replaced it with certification training. I don't want to say certification training, whether it's PMI, ServiceNow, or whatever. And I stopped listening to music. So I replaced music with you can learn anything almost on YouTube. You can.
Definitely,
There's
yeah.
so many
Yeah.
ServiceNow.
Absolutely.
If I'm stuck on something with ServiceNow, I can literally go to their YouTube community. So I just replace entertainment with personal development and just freeing up that time from doing entertainment stuff has allowed me to compound learning over 3 years. I didn't have any certifications at all, period, like 3 years ago. None. I had no idea what PMI was. I didn't know ServiceNow existed. So in 3 years, all those things just compounded. But none of that would have been possible if I was still like binge watching Game of Thrones. I love the program still, but yeah, I just stopped doing entertainment. That was it.
Yeah, exactly. What I believe is that one of the worst things that we are doing in today's world is that we are just doom scrolling and just being addicted to dopamine. And instead of using that time and using those moments to self improvement, like uh, the Japanese system for continuous improvement. That is one thing that inspired me, me as myself personally. That even if you learn one thing today, that's something of a growth. And same goes for you, when you said that you shifted yourself from just watching TV, listening to music. Instead of that, you converted that to those things. These are some things like, even if you learn one part or one important aspect of those points, there is a growth in you. I'm sorry. Yes, I would just want to point out that if any one of our attendees do have any questions, they are free to ask, and we will try to talk about them as well. But having said that, what I believe is that one of the problems that the young people that are entering into the service now, and the most, I think, difficult part for them is to be like mentally ready to learn, mentally ready to understand that where they are in their life right now is not the same. And they need to keep learning, they need to keep moving forward and get as much knowledge as possible. So to now, this is like the answer that you will give me is for our listeners specifically, but what would you suggest them as personal growth? You pointed out that removing the entertainment concept of TV and music, you converted that to the self-learning. What would you suggest them to do if someone came up to you and they ask you such things?
Yeah. So for me, I still copy people. If someone says, "Oh, I don't have enough time," then they could be like the Eric Thomases. Get up at 3 o'clock in the morning or 4 o'clock. Get up earlier.
Get up earlier.
Understand if the Warren Buffetts of the world that are billionaires, if he can still read, I don't know how many books a week, and he doesn't need to, who am I to not replicate that same stuff? So the only thing that I do now is I mimic the behaviors of people that I deem to be successful in my eyes. So I don't see the Shaquille O'Neals or the Warren Buffetts or even the Snoop Dogg. No one's just like sitting back doing nothing. They don't need to work and all those things, but getting to the point where what you're doing doesn't feel like work that's the ideal life for the most part. So that's still what I do. So if someone, if you you can observe your life and figure out where you're wasting time. That's pretty much that's the only thing that's going to get you from your current life to your future life of your dreams is where you want to dedicate your time. So I do believe there's 24 hours in a day and all that kind of stuff. So what habits can you get rid of? Once again, because I know people that I don't watch sports, for example. I know people that binge watch like the games and all. I don't. Okay,
definitely, yeah.
I don't do I don't do any of those things. So I have so much more time to focus on things that can make my life the show versus me going to pay someone to play basketball and I'm watching them live their dreams and I'm broke and no. So I reevaluate your life and identify all the things that you're doing just for like entertainment for the most part and do something else. Yeah. Once again, success does leave clues, and you can whatever your ideal job or lifestyle, you can find someone and put in the same work they did or do the same. Yeah, take the same journey for the most part. Like I didn't want to get a bachelor's or master's, but the CW5 on his record brief, he had a bachelor's by this time. Yeah, success does leave clues. So find someone that you like how their life is and try to mimic the work they did to get yourself in that same area.
Yeah, I think that's the right path to do. I completely agree with that. Um,
There are a few questions I don't know in the chat, so.
I'm just going through them. Let's start with a few first.
I see one. Is it better to get certified first or start working in small projects to build experience? I'll tell anyone to start learning now. What surprised me the most is even when it came to like project management, I've been amazed at how many people, like PMI has 26 books. 26 literally 26 books
Wow.
to teach you how to be a phenomenal project manager. But what I came to realize is no one read them. So the more that you learn now while you're still practice while you perform. So learn stuff now, and then once you get in that position where you're doing projects, you'll almost immediately be able to tell who's standing on some kind of a doctrinal standard or something, some kind of baseline, or if they're just making up stuff. And I can easily tell when I talk about project management, I can easily tell when someone hasn't read any of the 26 PMI references. And the same thing now applies with ServiceNow. Not an expert, but I've been in this ecosystem for almost 3 years now. And because I am so obsessed with learning the process, I'm just a systems thinker. It's easy for me to tell if someone's ever looked down create. I can immediately tell. It's just, or if they've never taken some of the courses, I can immediately tell because
I mean, the way that they
conversation.
talk and everything, that tells you.
Yeah. So that would be my suggestion. If I had to do all over again, I didn't realize until I just had an epiphany. The ServiceNow is built on the ITIL standard. I didn't really get that at first. So I would have started learning or reading the ITIL books. I have them all over there. I just never read them. So now when I see on the platform IT for IT, that reminds me, okay, that's an ITIL book. It's literally a book. So learn now. So if the ServiceNow, for example, start reading the ITIL books, and you'll understand the foundation of where the platform was developed for the most part. So I forget the book that I read, but once again, practice while you perform. So once you learn something, try to put it into action, and then you can refine your skills by relearning, practice, relearn, practice. But yeah, don't wait until you have your ideal job before you start to learn how to do it according to a standard. Because every company wants people, whether it's PMI, ServiceNow, they want you. They have these. I want you to have a PMP, or you need to have your CSA or CAD. They expect you to have a certain amount of knowledge based on what that certification says. So start working now to get all the knowledge you can, so you're always prepared for any opportunity that comes.
Excellent. I think there's a continuity on that question as well. Some book recommendations that would be helpful. So, what do you say to that?
I have so many books. Yeah, first I would say all of the ITIL books. I'm a member, so I was able to download them all, but I purchased them all too. If it's ServiceNow specific, I would at a minimum say read through all of the ITIL books, because that's literally the foundation of why ServiceNow was created. So if you understand that, then it'll be easier to understand the language of the platform. Because I didn't read them, and I've had the books sitting over there for like 3 years now. I feel I feel kind of, yeah. Me saying it now, I feel like pretty silly. But yeah, just having that as an initial foundation. So yeah, I would definitely recommend reading through the ITIL books, and TOGAF, yeah, there's so much. I can send you. I have a huge list of like books I've read or I still need to read, but I would definitely start with the ITIL books.
I think we can do that as like a type of a post on the community, where we can recommend books like to move forward. Read the following books. If you would share that, that would be amazing. Uh,
Yeah,
so
but
yeah,
another thing I would like to say on that point is reach out to people.
yeah,
Seriously,
definitely.
like
Networking is important. Yeah.
me and you, I've never met you. We've never met before during our lives, but until now, you'll be surprised at how many people that if you just reach out to them, that they'll stop whatever they're doing to help you along your way. And I'm the same. Like I'm not special. I'm not. So don't look at my profile. Oh my God, he has 60 something certifications. That's because I was terrified of being poor again. And oh my God, yeah. So don't feel any kind of way about reaching out to someone and that you admire, yeah, that you would want to, yeah, you have to have some kind of a reason to want to reach out to them, but reach out to people and ask them questions. I'll stop, I'll stop whatever I'm doing, like we're talking now, and I'll stop whatever I'm doing to have this conversation or for any like conversation for the most part. Just once again, reach out to people. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think networking has a lot of, you can say, potential on that because even my own personal experience is based on that. Uh, Instead of beating around the bush, you just directly ask the question, and they will answer. Leaders look for people that they look for followers. They look for people that they can influence, that they can bring to success, or even succeed them into the greater parts. That's what I have seen myself, and that's what I have faced. Experienced it myself. I think let's go to the next question. How did you go about learning ServiceNow from the scratch? I think we were talked about that before.
Well, yeah. So what had happened was at my very first job, I was IT project manager, and they were using the ServiceNow platform. Didn't nobody received training and all that kind of stuff. So initially, I learned by conversational knowledge. Oh, this is how the platform works, and you have to do this and do that. And then people kept complaining about, oh, this system sucks because why can't we do this and why can't we do that in the system? And that got kind of like frustrating. And I wanted to know like why does this system suck so much? So once again, as a veteran, I qualified for that 16-week Rise Up program. So instead of sitting around complaining about a system, I chose to go learn the platform so I could understand why it sucks so bad. But once I took the training, I immediately understood all the things that we as an organization were doing incorrect to, yeah, like weren't using like workspaces, we were using forms, Smash Project. No, that's not how it's designed to work. So that was my initial launch into the platform. I learned it initially through conversational knowledge by untrained people training me. And then once I understood how the platform worked, I just had like all these epiphanies. But once again, I didn't have the authority as a project manager to implement all the things that I learned. And once again, that's a truly sad state to be in. But that was my yeah, initial introduction was learning through other people that had no idea about how the platform worked, pretty much.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think we got one more question. Are there similarities for using ServiceNow workflows and the GCSSA? Are there something like that?
Well, from I think ServiceNow's workflows. Once again, I've been retired for quite some time, so we didn't really have very defined like workflows. When this happens, then it wasn't that much automation for the most part. So there's the amount of automation you can have within ServiceNow is phenomenal, because when I was in the Army working with GCSS Army, everything was like manual. You had to like type in T codes, and everything was a manual process. Like receiving parts was absolutely horrible because you had to scan it and input it. Yeah, so from my standpoint, workflows within ServiceNow, yeah, from my once again from my experience anyway, there are all the automation possibilities is a lot more is a lot better for in a ServiceNow. So
I think we should take this as a last question. Starting today, by today I mean 2025, July 30th, 2025. So what is the path anyone that is in the service now that they should take? Where should they start, and where should they move forward from there?
yeah, so success leaves clues, and it's within ServiceNow. I would tell you to go towards the things that other people say are hard. There's two people that I see on LinkedIn a lot. I forget their names, but like the ITAM, SecOps, all of those things seem to be hard, but that's a really high demand. So go towards the things that are hard within the platform, and you'll be prepared for all the simple stuff, if that makes sense. So now that's one of my focuses. Even though I'm going to be a business process consultant, I still want to be a technical architect, and I still want to master the CMDB and ITOM and ITAM, because I want to always be marketable. So if I focus on doing the things that everyone else thinks is hard, then I'll be prepared for opportunities that arise for the most part. But if you just stay in the easier areas, just doing workflows or basic admin stuff, then just realize at some point in time you may not be as relevant compared to people that know how to do the hard stuff. But everything's hard until it becomes easy. So if you're just starting out, just fix your mind on doing those things that other people consider to be hard, then you'll be prepared for anything within the platform.
Absolutely, absolutely. I would say, and this is a very, a code that is set everywhere, and every time where people listen, that a journey of of 1,000 miles start with the first step. So I think this kind of envelops all of our points that we are discussing, that no matter where you start, no matter where you begin, and uh, 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 I think we just take one more question. I think someone else also asked, um, what is the major difference between Xanadu and Yokohama, and what is the impact on business of release from ServiceNow? Are there any compatibility issues? Uh,
And I'm glad to say that I can't answer that question. I have no idea.
Exactly. This is something that one needs to understand, that there is a range, there's a limit, and we need to, keep walking, keep observing those steps, and uh, keep learning. As long as we keep learning, as long as we have that mindset, we would be succeeding no matter where we are at this point in our time. And I think this is the best way to conclude this session. And uh, James, again, thank you so much for joining us and discussing about the major issue that the tech world faces, especially the ServiceNow, about the path and how to take that and how to move forward on that. So, any ending comment that you would like to share?
Yeah, I really do appreciate the opportunity. And if anyone has questions or whatever, by all means, I'm not that serious. You can shoot me a note on LinkedIn, and if I have the answer, I'll provide it, or I can point you in the right direction potentially. But yeah, it was an awesome opportunity, and yeah, thanks for your time.
Excellent. And this brings us to the end of our today's NowTalk session, episode 2. Huge thank you to everyone who joined us, and especially our guest, James Parham. Valuable insight, great experiences that he shared with us, something that very few people, are uh, always there to come up and talk with you. We hope you're walking away with practical takeaways and inspire you and inspiring yourself for the growth in the ServiceNow journey. If you found today's conversation helpful, feel free to connect with us. Feel free to share your like and your response on our Now Tried community, and invite others to join this community as well. We are here to help you, to take you on a path and to guide you to the heights that everyone wants to go. Until next time, take care, keep learning, keep building. Thank you, everyone. All right, Jane, thank you so much. Take care.